So, what if you could completely change how you think about work and money? I mean, really change it. Today, we're diving into this incredible idea called leverage and how you can use it to finally stop trading your hours for a paycheck.
You know, most of us grew up hearing the same thing. Just work harder, put in more hours, and you'll get ahead. But this quote, it just cuts right through all that, doesn't it? I mean, if pure backbreaking work was the secret, the richest people on earth would be the ones doing the toughest jobs. And we all know that's just not how it works.
And this is why. It's the core problem for almost everyone. We're all stuck in this time for money trap. It's like being on a treadmill. You're renting out your life by the hour, the week, the year. And the only way to make more money on that treadmill is to run faster, work more hours. But guess what? There are only 24 hours in a day. It's a game with a ceiling you can never break through.
Okay, so if just working more hours isn't the answer, what is? How does some people build incredible wealth that has nothing to do with how many hours they're at their desk? Well, the secret lies in one single powerful word.
And that word is leverage. Think about it like this. Imagine you need to move a giant boulder. You could push against it with all your strength for days and get absolutely nowhere. Or you could find a long, sturdy stick, wedge it under the boulder, and move that same massive rock with just one finger. That stick, that's your lever. It's a force multiplier. It's the secret to completely disconnecting what you put in from what you get out.
So how do we find one of these magic sticks? Well, it turns out there's a whole framework for it, and it's by climbing what we'll call the 4 levels of leverage. I want you to picture it as a ladder to total freedom, where every single rung gives you more and more power.
And here are the 4 rungs on that ladder. We start with labor, then move up to capital, then to content and media, and finally, at the very top, code and software. Honestly, just understanding where you are on this ladder right now and how to get to the next rung, that changes everything.
All right, let's get a bird's eye view of this ladder. We're going to see how each of these levels works, and just as important, what the big catch is for each one. As you can see, every single level has a trade-off. Labor is about using other people's time, but, managing people is messy. Capital is fantastic. It's money making money for you. But you have to get that money in the first place, right? And then you have these newer forms, content and code. They can scale to the moon, but they do require you to put in some upfront effort or have a specific skill.
Let's start at the very bottom, with labor. This is the oldest kind of leverage in human history, right? Simply having other people work for you. Today, it could be something as simple as hiring a virtual assistant to handle your schedule. The benefit is obvious, you get your time back. But the challenge? People aren't robots. They need guidance, they need motivation, they need management. They're complicated.
Okay, one rung up, we've got capital. This was really the king of leverage for the entire 20th century. Capital is just money working for you. An investment works for you 24/7, it never calls in sick, it never complains, it's pure leverage. The huge barrier, though, is that catch-22. You usually have to trade your own time and labor to get that capital to begin with.
And this brings us to a really critical fork in the road. See, labor and capital are what you'd call permissioned leverage. You need someone else's permission to use them. You need a boss to hire you or a bank to approve your loan. There are gatekeepers everywhere. But the new forms of leverage, the ones born from the internet, content and code, they're totally different. They are permissionless.
This idea is a total game changer. Permissionless leverage. It means you don't have to ask anyone for anything. You don't need a promotion. You don't need a loan application. You can literally just hit record on a podcast, publish on an article, or deploy on a piece of software. The gatekeepers are just gone. You give yourself permission.
And this is where the magic really happens, especially with content. Let's say you spend 10 hours creating one incredible YouTube video. Here's the crazy part. Whether 10 people watch that video or 10 million people watch it, your initial effort, your input is exactly the same, but the output, it grows exponentially. Your knowledge literally becomes an asset that works for you while you sleep.
And that brings us to the very top of the ladder, code. This is, without a doubt, the most powerful form of leverage that exists today. Writing code is like building an army of digital robots that work for you around the clock for free, and they never get tired. A single automated system can handle customer signups, payments, product delivery, all without you lifting a finger. It allows one person, to build something with the scale of a giant company.
Okay, that's the theory. We get the 4 levels. But what does this actually look like in real life? How do you start climbing this ladder and move towards owning your time, owning your income?
Well, here's a path that anyone can start on. You begin with what you already have, your knowledge. Turn that into content. Share what you know. Build a reputation. Build authority. Then you use code.
And this can be simple no-code tools, by the way, to automate and scale a business around that content. And finally, you take the profits from that system and you reinvest them into capital, stocks, real estate, whatever. Assets that will grow all on their own, creating this beautiful, virtuous cycle of freedom.
So let's end with this because it just reframes everything. Your income isn't a reward for how hard you sweat. It's a measure of how much leverage you have. If you're only using your own two hands, your own labor, you're basically playing the game of life on the hardest possible difficulty setting. The goal is to stop being the one pushing the boulder and to start being the one who owns the lever.
So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. When you look at your day, what are you actually doing? Are you just trading your time for dollars, stuck on that treadmill? Or are you, even in a small way, building a lever that will keep working for you long after you've decided to call it a day? The choice, as they say, is yours. Thanks for tuning in.